What is going on, everyone? Conservative Video Dipper here. If you got a dip, pack a lip. Dip tobacco is not a safer alternative to cigarette, vape, nicotine, or any tobacco or nicotine product. If you are under the age of 18, we do not recommend that you dip, smoke, vape, or use any tobacco or nicotine product or watch any of these live streams or videos. Nah, I know. I was going to get myself on that one. But if you are 21 or older, you can dip, smoke, vape, or use any nicotine or tobacco product at your own risk. Mileage may vary. We are not sponsored nor endorsed by any dip tobacco company or product that you may see or hear in this video. I'm going to do a review of an oldie but goodie Grizzly long cut wintergreen because I chew it daily. So if you got a dip, pack a lip with me. First and foremost, we are not going to talk about the cans because I already glamorized the cans enough as it is. I think honestly, you all know how I feel about Grizzly cans. I pretty much talk your ear off all the time about how much I appreciate Grizzly for their work in the can. And so that's why we're not going to kind of do that because, again, we already know it. Grizzly pretty much it gets a grade A for their can work. But we're going to talk about the dip in general because this is and has been requested by my two boys. My two sons actually requested me to do this one today. So if my boys are watching, love you guys. And thank you for asking me to do this request. So let's get dipping. Now, some people also have told me that they're. I'm going to turn off my backlight. The dip has changed a little bit. It is, again, a 70-30, which obviously 70% imported, 30% Americano. So the smell, it smells absolutely like wintergreen, like synthetic wintergreen. Like if you know Grizzly, you know how Grizzly is very synthetic. It does have that synthetic smell to it. The cut looks pretty good. It is kind of a mid cut. Now, people will always think of this as kind of weird, but they think long cut as it's supposed to be longer. But it's this kind of cut, I would call it consistency as to maybe a supposed mid cut. Not like a fine cut or a fat cut, but it's long cut range, but it's kind of in between the mid cut of the cuts. So pretty good. Packability, pretty good as usual. Could be a little bit better, not sensational. I am not going to complain, but as always, very good. The packability does pretty well for, as always, Grizzly being Grizzly. That's what I love about Grizzly is their packability is pretty damn impeccable. They do have some good packabilities. But the one that I noticed that doesn't pack the best would be the fine cut, which is absolute, no offense, Grizzly, dog shit. But this is better. This is absolutely way better. It's not that dog shit sawdust that we had before. So, pinchability is going to be the next one, and a lot of people are going to know when they watch me pinch my dip. I'm going to do this. I do the little claw like this. Pinchability, pretty good. I give it about an 8.5 to 9.5. I'll give it a generous 8.5 because of the fact that it could be a little bit better, but again, we are talking about dip. So in general, dip tobacco normally is not always going to have the best pinchability, but this is very good pinchability. I do like this one. So I am going to be gracious enough to go 8.5. So the pinchability is pretty good. Try it. Cheers. Now, another thing that you will notice about Grizzly, I am going to turn this light off. It is killing my eye because it's literally hitting me right in the face. Is that with Grizzly, the taste is pretty generic to uh, pretty synthetic. You know what it is, you know what it's about. I'm not going to shit on Grizzly because that's what I dip. I love Grizzly, and I think honestly, Grizzly is a really good dip. It's better than most other dips that I've had. Now, the sense of flavor, the keeping it compounded inside your gums, or right where your uh, dip placement, as they call it. The proper terminology is dip placement. And for all you weirdos that are wondering, well, what is dip placement? It's where you place your dip tobacco in your lip. The dip placement for Grizzly is pretty good. I don't have very many problems with it coming to like with it moving around a lot, but there are times where I will have that issue where it will move around and my dip kind of will get out of the placement and I have to readjust. But that I'm gonna say it's not bad. It's pretty good. I'm gonna give it about right now. This one gets a 7.5, actually an 8.5, because this one's doing actually really good. This one's staying directly right where I want it. Now the spitability. Now, when we talk about like the spitability, we're talking like not that, not where you're like hot tooey on that thing, but the spitability as into how brown is it or how light is it. Normally with Grizzly, it's going to take a little bit to kind of get that brownness, that motor oil spit out in general. So when you're doing like any type of Grizzly, whether it's mint, whether it's Grizzly dark, whether it's Grizzly wintergreen, it's going to take a while to get that motor oil color to produce. After that, it's pretty thick brown, and she'd be thicker than a snicker. I mean, not really, but anyway, um, it really does have that brown color to it that most of the time when you're dipping Grizzly, you're gonna know what it is, and you're gonna know that okay, it's brown, it's good. Right there, that spit was perfect. So the spitability is pretty good with this. I don't have a lot of problems with my spitability because obviously I've dipped Grizzly a long time. And it's something I'm used to. Now, the lasting time. There is a issue and a controversy that I hear a lot of people want to argue here. Grizzly doesn't last very long. I know Skull can last longer. Tee hee hee. Well, kiss my ass. Bite me. Your Skull may not last as long as Grizzly. I'm going to tell you that for a fact because I know Skull doesn't last as long as Grizzly. Grizzly has about an hour, hour and a half to maybe 2 hours to almost 3 hour last time, depending on really how long you really want to leave it in there. But after an hour, it does lose the flavor and it's pretty much used. So you can't get that out of Skull. You can't get that out of any other dip. Um, but like weaker dips, I mean. But when it comes to like a big, high, not welfare bear anymore, because they used to call this thing the welfare bear. But shit, it ain't welfare bear anymore. Up here in Tennessee, it's like fucking expensive as hell. It's not cheap. I can guarantee you that one. But everybody knows when they've dipped Grizzly that most of Grizzly's product is going to be high end stuff. And because Grizzly, when it comes to their product, their cans, and everything about Grizzly, that's the kind of dip that you're getting. You're getting a good product. You're getting a product that good pinchability, somewhat of an okay pinchability, okay packability. Spitability is pretty good. But like I said, the lasting time can differ and be different between each person and how long each person decides whether they want to keep it in or take it out anytime soon. But it does do and have a good amount. I appreciate the thumbs up, y'all. A good amount of lasting time, which I like. The buzz. Now, the other thing that you will not get with cheap dips is the buzz. But Grizzly, oh, you better buckle up and sit your ass down. You better buckle up and sit your ass down. I'm just saying this right now. Because with Grizzly, when it comes to the Grizzly, you will buzz. If you have never dipped Grizzly, you will buzz hard. That is the one thing that a lot of people don't realize with when it comes to Grizzly is that Grizzly it has that buzzability that I love. And a lot of people may not like it. Some people may be like, it's okay, but I'd rather not have a big buzz than go to Stoker's or go to Copenhagen. Copenhagen really doesn't give me that much of a buzz. Stoker's doesn't give me much of a buzz. But Grizzly will give you a hell of a buzz. And you gotta buckle up for it and be ready for it. Because it will bite you the first time. And it still bites to this day, even with me. I know I tell a lot of people, well, I'm kind of used to it. I am, but it there are days where it just grabs me by the woo woo, and man, whew, it's an exciting experience. It's a good experience. So you will get a good buzz. It's really to me more common in effect than like an upper. It's kind of more of a downer. But with being that Grizzly is what it is, and Grizzly is very potent and powerful, it will have that effect on you. So, what do I honestly think about Grizzly, even though I'm pretty biased about other dips, and Grizzly is pretty much my favorite dip? Well, if you haven't tried Grizzly, go for it, in my opinion. Because honestly, Grizzly is one of those dips where you're not going to know what to expect unless you try it yourself. There's a whole bunch of other dips out there that are good dips, like Stoker's, Copenhagen, stuff like that, that are really good. But Grizzly, to me, and Kodiak both kind of stand out, which is really good. But when it comes to Grizzly compared to Kodiak, Grizzly is really better than Kodiak because it has that bite. It does have that burn a little bit. And some people don't like the burn when it comes to Grizzly. I do happen to like it a lot. It's just one of my things that I'm okay with. I noticed the burn just a little bit ago, but it's not too bad of a burn. The burn is subtle. It's just really subtle. But all in all, I would say go for Grizzly if you have a chance, or Kodiak if you get a chance. Now, Kodiak and Grizzly are again both made from the same company, which is made from the same company that makes Cougar. If you didn't notice that already, and I've done a Cougar review before, and I love Cougar. Now, Cougar is another dip that is a real good dip, and Cougar, Grizzly are the two dips that I would recommend that you get into if you have not tried them because they do have really good taste. Cougar is to me a little bit like what Grizzly kind of wants to be, but Grizzly can't be it in certain ways and aspects and forms. But I like um, the fact that Grizzly does have a lot of the buzz to it, which is really nice. So, all in all, Grizzly is one of my favorites. Go for it. If you can't handle Grizzly, then I would recommend that you just go for a lighter dip. Maybe go to Stoker's. Stoker's is a really good one. I've had no problems with Stoker's. I've enjoyed Stoker's before. Stoker's really doesn't give me much of a buzz or kind of that high amount of nicotine feeling, which is okay, but that's good for beginners and for people who want to learn how to dip properly and especially learn your dip placement and just get the feel for it. But Grizzlies again kind of more for like you got to be ready and you have to have the expectation that when you dip Grizzly, you are going to want to sit your ass down and not move because that's pretty much how you are going to feel like a little space cadet. And you will feel like a space cadet for a few hours. But that's just my thought and my opinion. But who knows? I mean, people can say I'm wrong. Like somebody already in the chat allegedly claimed I'm wrong. And I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but of course I do, because I've been dipping for 20 fucking years. So for those people who think I don't know what I'm talking about, I actually do. I dip every day. I've dipped longer probably than half of y'all been alive that are young bucks sitting in the comments trying to claim I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, yeah, let's see if you can handle what I do every day. But as you all already know, don't forget to hit the like, share, comment, and subscribe. That thing still hits my eye. And I do appreciate you all. And as always, don't forget to pack, dip, and spit. And I'm out, y'all. See y'all.